Welcome back, everybody. This is your three-man booth. We are through 6 weeks of NFL action. I'm Dan Salem with Phil and Bud. How are you guys? It was an interesting week of football once again.
I will not let Bud say one negative thing. That's what I'm going to start with.
Not one negative thing? Okay, well, we'll try.
That one.
Bud, do you want to get a negative word in before he cuts you off?
I'll figure something out.
Well, so we were going to talk about the referees, and we got a lot of negative things to say about the referees. So is that an exception?
I just meant negative against the Jets. That's all.
That's fair. That's fair.
I can find stuff negative against the Jets.
I know you can.
I'll take the reins on that this week. I'll let him say the positive since he doesn't say many. But let's talk about the refs first because they almost blew the Jets game, and they blew the game for the Packers-Lions too. Unbelievable. But
at the end of the point, the end of that Jet game, everybody was looking around like, where's the flag? Where's the flag? And it never came because everyone was expecting it to happen.
Yeah.
Even in Roma, we're like, wait, hold on, where's the flag? Where's the flag? It's becoming an epidemic. I mean, it is so bad that these guys are literally causing outcomes of the game. I mean, without the referees, that last drive that Dallas had that they scored a touchdown would have been over a long time before they even marched down the field. They called last night against Flowers 2 illegal hands to the face, and his hand didn't even come near the guy's face. It was on his chest.
Yeah. Isn't it ironic that they instituted you can review a penalty rule this year, and it's only getting much worse, and you can't review any of this stuff?
And every time they review it, they don't overturn it.
No.
Because it's a judgment call. That one guy, I forgot what his name is, he was going for the ball yesterday to make an interception, and his helmet hit the other guy's helmet, and they called him for 15 yards. What is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to let the guy catch the ball and then two-hand touch him to the ground? Like, it's football. He made a football play. He wasn't maliciously going after the guy's head. The 15-yard penalty. I think it's just.
Well, the Lions could be legitimately 4-0-1 right now. Instead, they're 2-2-1. It's a shame because they're having a great season. Mm-hmm. In the Jets game, I saw the referees literally flip a switch. They called the game the whole way consistently until about 2 minutes ago when Dak Prescott got the ball. Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones' birthday, and then it was just flag, 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 flag. I was crossing my fingers on that 2-point conversion. I was expecting the flag too.
I think there was 6 or 7 plays in a row that literally there was a flag thrown.
6 plays in a row.
Yeah.
The pass interference call
is a joke
on Jamal Adams. I don't even know what is that rule anymore. Well, so he goes over and he reaches over and taps down the ball, but it's defensive pass interference.
I think that they probably got him because he put his hand on the guy's shoulder, and they weren't calling it that close all game. That was my issue. Like, it's kind of like baseball, right? You got your strike zone, and if you're consistent with your strike zone the whole game, all right, it might suck, but at least you're consistent. When you call something one way and then you switch and call it more tighter, like that was BS. It's just infuriating. Well, so what do you guys think? Is this really like a favoritism towards the Packers, Cowboys, Patriots type of teams, or is it just bad refs overall?
Like, I mean, you had that one ref, I think week 2 or week 3, that told the defensive player not to hit Tom Brady. I don't know. I just feel like I feel like the product on the field is now getting overlooked by the referees, and there's the actual sport, the product on the field is diminishing because there's no consistent flow in action anymore. There's a penalty every single play. It's just, I mean, if you're not going to let these guys play and bump each other and play physical, why even play the game?
Well, I agree. You took the words out of my mouth. When we played football in high school, it was like you probably could have called a penalty or 3 on every single play, but you let the kids play so you actually can play the game of football, and you use your best judgment on whether it affected the outcome or not of the actual play. I mean, if
that pass interference rule is an absolute joke. I think they've challenged 60 or 70 of them, and they've overturned about 6. Like, it's why even have it anymore? We all know it was a complete overreaction to last year. So now you're giving the coaches the ability to make this challenge, And it's like, well, why are you going to waste our time? It's slowing the game down. You're not going to reverse the call. Don't tell me that Golden Tate wasn't held on that play on Thursday night. I know it wouldn't have affected the outcome of the game, but give me a break. I mean, we all saw it. If you're not going to call it on the field, you're not going to call it on replay. What's the point of even having it? I'm fully believe that the only way they're going to reverse it is if you see what happened in the Saints game last year. It has to be so over the top egregious. But the problem is, if that happens again, you're not going to miss it. You're not going to catch it on replay.
Well, I mean, they missed it the last time.
But I'm saying going forward, that'll never, ever, ever be missed again.
Well, I mean, they changed the rule because thousands
Because
of got together
of an overreaction, and Sean Payton is the head of the rules committee and probably put up a fit.
But the city of New Orleans collectively sued the NFL. That's why the rule changed.
So they put this new rule in to settle that lawsuit with no intention of ever actually enforcing it because it's never being enforced.
But why do you think the officiating got so much worse? Did they lose a lot of guys in the offseason? Are these like backups that they promoted or something?
Three or four guys retired. But listen, even the refereeing last year was awful. It wasn't great last year. I don't know how you fix this, and I know that like we're just complaining to complain about stuff, but at the same time, it's legitimate. I mean, it's some of these games are borderline unwatchable.
Yeah. Well, so let's take the biggest one, which is the quarterback roughing the passer call, right?
Oh my God.
I'd say about 50% of the roughing the passers that they call shouldn't be called because the guy just got knocked over.
It cost the Broncos a game. It literally cost them a game.
And like, I think the defenders are doing a really good job now of slowing up and not deliberately trying to hurt the quarterback. There's an exception, but
I will say this. The Jets crushed Dak on Sunday.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if they got called for a roughing the passer on any of them. And there were some that were like, I mean, Jamal Adams put his helmet into Dak's chest and drove him into the ground with no penalty.
There was one that they could have called, and then they called one on the final drive. They did call one, I think, on the final drive.
I remember you're talking about. That was beautiful. That was a beautiful hit.
Well, we're no fans of Cowboys here, and we called them out for getting exposed last week. Boy, did the Jets just ring them over.
They beat the crap out of them.
Oh.
It was so like you guys have been saying for the last 5 weeks. We haven't seen the Jets team yet. We saw them for 30 minutes in week 1. You just saw it in week 5 or week.
It's not even their full team yet.
No, Mosley's a huge upgrade at linebacker.
So here's the one negative that I will say, and overall I was obviously pleasantly surprised. I think we all were.
Yes.
I don't think anybody saw what happened in the first half.
Yeah.
At all. They still need to figure out how to get this running game going, because for 3 weeks when Sam wasn't around, the team looked awful to begin with, and then Sam came back and he looked great. He looked awesome. This game should have been even more points if he didn't throw that interception in the red zone. They would have easily gone up 28-6 at that point. It's just.
Well, you know what he did?
You got to figure out how to get Le'Veon Bell yard.
I think that'll come with time because you know what he did? He moved so well in the pocket that he made the play even though the linemen weren't blocking great for him, and he kept moving, which made it harder for the defenders to get to him. He wasn't just like deer in headlights, Luke Falk, hold the ball too long, get sacked. And I mean, he was a practice squad player. It's not surprising, but.
And how about Sam comes back and then they release Luke Falk?
Yep.
Thanks for nothing.
Yeah, literally.
Maybe they'll sign him back to their practice squad.
Not even on the practice. No, they're he's gone. Bye-bye.
He's gone, yeah. Well, I agree they got to get Bell going, but maybe they don't – if they're going to play like that, they don't need to overwork him. Just the threat of him alone is pretty good. He's still got in the end zone. He's still got 40 yards or something.
But you're going to go play the Patriots team, and the Patriots team is going to play defense in a way where it's going to force you to beat you one way or the other.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
Either you beat them by running or you beat them by passing, and their secondary is by far their strong suit of their defense. Now you have a quarterback that can stretch the ball and use. And I mean, you finally saw that this team had wide receivers. They didn't have wide receivers for 3 weeks. They were just like statues out there doing nothing, just running in circles.
Well, I'll tell you that I did like that. I mean, the Jets, you started to see some of the more inventive plays get worked into the field too, and I'm expecting more of that this week. Where I think Ty Montgomery got the ball and got on the field. They were doing an end around with Robbie Anderson. Just some of the things you couldn't do with your fourth string quarterback, like you could do with your starter, and that's what they're going to need to do against the Patriots. But
speaking of Robbie Anderson, we can finally take him.
Oh, Robbie Anderson
Off the milk carton, huh?
Yes. He had a big smile on his face after that game, Robbie Anderson did. I haven't seen him smile in a long time.
What was I going to say? I don't know what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought.
Well, I read that he made eye contact with Gase on the sideline, like get me the damn football type of thing. But
that's what I was going to say.
It and, go ahead.
So Phil, I know that you're in Connecticut, and Dan, you're obviously in California. So I listen to a lot of sports radio, and Gase was on one of the talk shows in the afternoon, and he basically came out and said we couldn't use any of the plays that we had. We couldn't do anything because the quarterback that we had literally couldn't do them. Like we had no choice. Yeah. Like, and I think if Trevor Siemian was the quarterback and he did not get hurt, maybe we see different outcomes here. Because I mean he was just kind of thrown into the mix too. I don't think that these games would have been they would have won these games, but at the same time I think they would have been a slightly more competitive. But we can obviously see what a franchise quarterback will do to a team. Yeah. Sam was by far the best quarterback on the field. I was not impressed with Dak at all.
No, I mean, no, they were down 2 offensive linemen, and Amari Cooper went out. So they were a little shorthanded, which is why they switched completely to running the football in the second half and actually got a little something going. But I 100% agree. You got to deal with that crap, and if you can't win shorthanded, you're not going to win anything in this league.
But to Phil's point, Dallas has played 6 games, and 3 of those games against really bad teams, and 3 of those games against, I wouldn't call Jets a good team, but I would say an improved team. And you saw what they've been able to do. They haven't been able to do anything.
So we can use this to transition to the Giants, who are a game out of first place and don't look any worse than the Eagles or Cowboys right now.
No, in fact, they're on the uptick because you're going to get Barkley back. You're going to get Ingram back. I heard Shepard's going to be back this week. So we'll talk about the game a little bit.
Yeah, well, Arizona's slouched, but it's
So lost, which is okay.
We're losing.
Am I still on?
Talk slower. Yeah. Talk slower.
I got to start paying the bill around here, apparently.
Yeah, talk slower. Your excitement trips you up.
So we all know that Thursday game, Giants were going to win that game, right? They came in shorthanded. There was nobody there. You're playing with, third and fourth string guys. All right. The defense guys, the defensive side of the ball actually was the healthiest side of the bunch. And the first 3 or 4 weeks, what was everyone saying? Well, the Giants are a sieve. They're just letting people throw the ball all over the place. That team, at least for 3.5 quarters, because, the final score is not indicative of how that game was played, that defense actually looked like they were finally coming together. And, I mean, they were hitting Brady. Brady looked like crap. You can say, yeah, he was missing his receivers, but he was getting pressured. He was getting sacked. They forced a strip sack on him. I was very impressed by how the defense morphed into a unit and was playing pretty well. And, again, it was 14-14. There was a chance. I was in this game, but for a moment, it's like maybe they actually have a chance.
Yeah, no, they kept it super close. Sorry, you had like a expression on your face that was like frozen. It was really funny. So are we nothing to take away from the Giants, but this is 2 weeks in a row that the Patriots, after the warm, fresh month of September is over, have not looked great offensively. And I mean, they're winning games, but Buffalo pushed them around. Now the Giants pushed them around. Now, granted, they pulled away in the end against the Giants, and it was a Thursday night game. So Thursday night's traditionally tough, but we're going to see Tom Brady not be able to beat Tom Brady consistently at some point. And I want it to be it now. I'm not ready to say it is, but
well, those 2 offensive linemen that they have injured are going to come back and bite them eventually.
But the lineman out. Yeah.
He can't stretch the field anymore. His arm strength just isn't there. I'm sorry. It's just not. And his offensive line is good, but they were hitting him like crazy, and the Giants' defensive front is not that good.
No.
It's not. So, here's why the Giants lost. One is because they're not ready to play primetime against the Super Bowl champs. That's one. And two, you turn the ball over. Special teams and turnovers cost them that game.
Yeah.
Right? You have 7 points off of the block punt, right? And then how many times was Daniel Jones intercepted? 3 or 4, right? Okay.
3.
There you go. If they don't turn the ball over and consistently, they were moving the ball fine. It was 14-14 at one point in this football game.
Yeah.
So it's not like they couldn't hold with them, but eventually it catches up to you. And
no Gronkowski, who is the ultimate safety blanket, who always got yards after the catch. Like that's we knew it was going to hurt the Patriots offense at some point this season, and it might be showing.
Yeah, but now they just went back out and they re-signed their tight end that they just released. What's his name?
Ben Watson.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Ben Watson.
They released him, and then they realized that they need a tight end, and all of a sudden you start hearing like all these Gronk things over the last week and a half. So oh, he's not coming out of retirement. He hasn't filed his retirement paperwork yet. Like you know that the Patriots are missing a solid tight end because that was Tom Brady's guy. It was Edelman.
Well, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, you can't replace a Hall of Famer just immediately. Unlikely. They tried to with Antonio Brown, and then they probably should have kept him, but they didn't. And so
but they couldn't keep him. You know that.
I know they couldn't keep him. So we excuse Daniel Jones' interceptions because he threw 3 because he's a rookie, right? Your rookie year is kind of like a mulligan year in terms of how many picks you throw. Because those things can be corrected and you get to work on your mechanics with a full offseason. And I expect him to improve at that over this year. But Baker Mayfield, the most picks in the league, he's got 11 through 6 games?
11.
He is losing games for his team easily with those interceptions. I like the kid as a player, but you can't survive with that many interceptions. That's why Winston and Mariota are probably done.
Well, no, they said Jameis Winston is going to be the starting quarterback when they come back from bye. Mariota man, his last snap. I mean, think about how bad it is in Tennessee. You bench Mariota, who won the Heisman,
for
from Tannehill.
Oh, right.
whose only claim to fame is that his wife is hot.
He had a good half year for the Dolphins.
But he can't stay healthy either. I mean, that's how bad it is in Tennessee. Jameis Winston had, 5 or 6 interceptions?
Oh, oof. I mean, he's putting up good numbers, but the picks just keep piling up. And, you can't play a guy that's going to turn the ball over. You'd rather he threw for 150 yards and no interceptions than 350 and 5. I mean, every day. Well, Josh Rosen got benched, too. I don't know if he's going to come back in or if that's Fitzpatrick's teams now. It's just interesting. These guys are getting sat down real quick. No one's giving them any leash.
No, I heard today Josh Rosen will be the starter in week 7.
Oh, they will bring him. Okay.
What is going on in Atlanta?
Oh, they got no defense.
No defense, right?
Kicker. The Cardinals carved them up.
Yeah. That
game was over, and then Matt Ryan had garbage time points, right? And then Bryant missed the extra point to tie the game.
Is it fair to say that the Chargers are the exact same team right now because that game was over until Phillip Rivers got garbage time points as well?
So Dan, you live in LA.
Oh.
That game, which was prime time again on Sunday night, there was all Steelers fans. I don't think I saw a single powder blue jersey in the stadium.
You want me to tell you what happened? The Chargers were San Diego's team for years. The San Diego fans abandoned them when the team left the city. LA is a Rams town and a Raiders town, and it's every other sport team around the country. LA could have cared less about the Chargers, and then they forced them down our throats.
Are they going to be successful there? Because I don't know if LA can survive with 2 teams.
Teams that win are successful in LA, but if they don't win, they don't have a fan base because San Diego abandoned them. If they had a diehard fan base in San Diego and Orange County, but they left there, San Diego, and moved to Los Angeles, which is like the worst thing you can do.
They were playing the Pittsburgh fight song in the stadium.
Well, I'll tell you, I couldn't tell you. I mean, every Angels game I've gone to has been half Yankee fans because I go to the Angels Yankees, and some teams travel well. The Yankees travel well. The Steelers travel well. There are a lot of Steelers fans.
But not the whole stadium, Dan.
But every Steeler fan in Los Angeles went to that football game because the tickets were easy to get. That's what I'm saying to you.
There were a lot of Cowboy fans in Life Stadium on Sunday too.
Oh yeah.
You know what? The Cowboys travel well, and you and I talk about this all the time in the podcast, Phil. Like Jets fans, they don't show up. They sell their tickets on StubHub, and and it's. I go back to the Packers game last year. The whole stadium was green and yellow. The whole stadium.
So there are bars in LA because LA is like not a cesspool, but whatever it is, a melting pot, right? There's like a Patriots bar. There are Steelers bars around town. I guarantee you that they got together and bought tickets for the fans because there's like a local fan club for the Steelers. Because who's going to the Chargers game in Carson? It's an hour drive south. I'm not going.
It's a shame because the Chargers are really not. I don't know what's going on with them this year. They look terrible on Sunday. Yeah. But the past 3 years, they've been a pretty good football team.
I know. They're in no man's land right now. They're in a soccer stadium halfway between San Diego and LA that most people don't know exists. So it's next season they'll move into their home and with the Rams, and we'll see if it changes. But tough spot, especially they suck. So.
I'm sure Melvin Gordon's regretting, coming out of. He's barely getting the ball. He's,
But he didn't sign a contract.
I know.
So he can go anywhere he wants.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's probably just playing not to get hurt.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we got Phillip Rivers and Matt Ryan, who are two generally really good quarterbacks, basically just putting up garbage time fantasy numbers each week because they can't win anything for their teams. I don't know. Is this like what's with these guys? Is they going to rebound next year? Is this the beginning of the end for this crop of quarterbacks? It's interesting.
So Rivers is in the same class as Ben and Eli, and they're essentially done. I mean, I don't know what Ben's going to do, but Eli's, done.
Yeah, he retire. He'll retire. So Ben might retire.
Rivers has maybe a year left, maybe.
Well, yeah, and I guess it was through last season he was playing at the top of his game. So it's just now.
You're right about Atlanta. Atlanta's problem is the defense because you have Ridley and you have Devontae Freeman, you have Julio Jones. They have offensive weapens. They just can't stop anybody.
Well, and that's why Dan Quinn's on the hot seat. I think is he calling the defense this season? He took over.
If he is, it's not going well for him.
No, it's not. I mean, I was reading. I think Bill Barnwell did a rising and falling, or like which teams are likely to fire their coach next. And the only reason they're not going to fire him is because the in-house candidates are worse options. So. I mean, that's a real shame.
Yeah.
Good. Well, so I want to jump over back to the Eagles for a second because I was pretty high on them entering the season, and I've been thoroughly unimpressed. They play the Cowboys this week. I don't like either team, but one of them has to win.
They have the worst secondary in the entire league. That's Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. You're right.
Well, I think they had the worst. I think they had the worst pass rush too until they played the Jets, which probably padded their numbers.
Yeah, one game sample's all right, but it's a shame that both of these teams can't lose. Maybe they'll tie because you're right. The Giants are one game out of first place in the NFC East, and they got the Cardinals coming up. Let's see, they got games against Detroit, which probably seem harder now, but there is it's smiling, but they're only one game out.
So, Phil, do you remember at the beginning of the year when you told me that the simulations had the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Giants all at 8-8?
Yep, it's possible.
It's possible, isn't it?
So
it also told us San Francisco was going to go 14-2, and we laughed.
Did you really do that simulation? That's what it was?
It was an ESPN article.
Oh, okay.
And the 49ers could be the best team in football. Their defense is awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And it's not because of Garoppolo. It's because of that defense. Yeah.
No, I
He's
know.
doing well, but I lost my train of thought.
And the only
We're losing Phil.
the only reason the Redskins, because the Dolphins went for it.
Yeah, I'm glad. The Redskins won a game because the Dolphins went for it. I'm glad they went for it though, because you got to try to win. You're tanking. You got to try to at least get one victory, right?
I feel bad for Fitzmagic, man. He deserves better than that.
Yeah. You should have stuck around with the Jets, not put out for more money.
Put him in, and all of a sudden they started marching on the field and scoring points. I don't know, but
that's all right.
So I'll apparently just have to chime in with yeses or nos because I apparently keep breaking up.
You do. So
go like this or like this.
So okay. I like the Giants' chance. Now the Cardinals don't look like slouches, but I like the Giants' chances with Barkley back this week against Arizona.
Love it.
That puts them at 3-4 if they get that victory. They'll be tied for second place no matter what happens with Eagles Cowboys. And
they need to contain Kyler Murray though, because Kyler Murray is starting to show his skills here, and it's everybody, including us, thought that he was a little overrated, but he's got a good arm, and maybe because he's so small, he's agile. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
Not Russell Wilson, although everyone compares him to Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is going to be the MVP of football this year. At pace.
They stole a game against Cleveland that they easily could have lost. But
Kyler Murray to throw to.
Yeah, he doesn't, but have anybody to throw to. But I mean, it's interesting. These running quarterbacks generally have a really good rookie season, and I say running quarterback, but and then they tail off. I'm hoping he can keep it together. I mean, I'd love to see him prove the doubters and turn this into something to be fun.
We're talking about quarterbacks, and I know that we're jumping around a little bit. Do you think Cam Newton gets his job back?
Yes.
Really? Because they are a much better team without him.
He'll get his job back.
Allen is playing much better than Cam has the last couple of years.
Well, Cam played hurt at least half of last season too. Now, so if Cam's not 100%, he definitely shouldn't get his job back. But if he's 100%, when he was 100%, he was incredible. Now that's not been very often. I will give you that.
Allen has them one game out of first place in the NFC South.
Yeah. Well,
now, if Cam comes back and all of a sudden they start losing football games again, what do you do?
Oh,
I don't know. I think Christian McCaffrey has him one game out of first place.
Well, I mean. Also history, because this was their year to have a winning record because they flip-flop every season. Well, they can't keep both these players, right? So they're gonna have to. Do they have both Kyle Allen and Cam Newton under contract? I mean, talk about having one of the best backups in the league.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the Jaguars got a similar problem with Mishnu and Foles whenever Foles comes back. You can't. I don't think you mess up a good thing. I don't think you do it. I think you let Allen ride it out. I mean, maybe Newton's not 100% for a while, Maybe he's got Jalen Ramsey type injuries.
Well, they have a bye this week because they're coming back from London, and I read something today that he's going to start practicing next week. So, listen, he makes a ton of money, and they're going to have to play him. All I'm saying is that the proof is in the pudding, right? If he comes back and he's slinging the ball all over the place and he's not making accurate throws, and yes, Christian McCaffrey is the best player on that football team, but you need somebody to take the snap every down and we lost Phil. Oh no,
he's just switching positions.
So we gotta figure something out.
No, it's a real tough situation. I mean, the Broncos dealt with this in their Super Bowl season, and they did it. They pulled the trigger, and they switched back to Peyton Manning, who was marketably worse, but they still won with him under center throughout the playoffs because he was Peyton Manning. And it didn't bite them, but they weren't better with him. So it's –
So I switched things because I'm tired of getting cut off. I wanted to weigh in on the Gardner Minshew. That experiment is starting to tail off a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean – Jacksonville's not great.
He had one bad game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think their defense – I don't know how great their defense is. I think that's probably hurting them.
Well, now it's going to be even worse now that Jalen Ramsey's gone.
Yeah, but bad game. They were only lost by like 3 to New Orleans. It was one of the best teams in the NFC. I mean, that's not a real shame. And that division again is.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, Houston's sort of pulling away, but they're winning shootouts. They can't win that way. They're not playing any defense. Either is Kansas City. You can't. I don't know how long you could sustain not playing any defense. That's why the Chiefs lost 2 in a row. But
the Chiefs are in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, the blueprint about how to beat the Chiefs has been laid out, and everyone's doing it. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball.
Yeah, keep them off the field. Also, so I saw an interesting stat, though, because Patrick Mahomes has been playing with a faulty ankle. And, like, he hurt it in this last game, and the numbers before and after he, quote, got hurt were, like, night and day. Now, they may have been keeping him off the field, but there's got to be something to that too, right?
There is, but it's the defense can't stop the run. So the Colts played the blueprint, and the Lions exploit. Was it the Lions? Who just played the Colts? I forget.
No, the Lions did it, and the Colts exposed it.
Yeah, all right. And then who did Kansas City just play? Who did they lose to?
Houston.
Oh,
Houston. Yeah. That's right. Right. So, but that's the theme for the last 3 games. Run the ball down their throat. It's like they can't stop it.
Yeah. No, they really can't. Well, I mean, besides the 49ers and the Patriots, there's nobody that really stands out in this league. I mean, there's some great defense being played, but I got to believe the 49ers are going to regress to the mean, and the Patriots have started to look more and more vulnerable. If the Jets actually pull off an upset here this week, then we know that they've taken a step back from their dominant September. So,
but can the Jets pull off the upset this week?
Don't make him jinx it. He believes that it's possible, and that's enough, especially if Mosley's back. Don't make him say it. Let it happen.
Okay.
If Mosley plays, and we can get Chris Herndon back, the Jets will finally have their full team together. When Chris Herndon comes back, I'm telling you, he's going to be such a difference maker on this offense because him and Sam have a connection. They really do. And listen, the Jets' defense is better than the Giants, and the Giants were able to pepper and pressure.
I agree with that.
Yeah, well, and the Jets' offense isn't going to make that many turnovers like the Giants did either. So, I mean, because that's something that Darnold's not locked down quick. He does not turn the ball over a lot. I mean, he threw 1 pick against the Cowboys, but
they just played a mobile quarterback in Dak, and they did not let him beat him with his legs.
Yeah, and
they were getting tons of pressure on Dak. Now, granted, their 2 tackles were out, but put that aside, he can make enough plays outside the pocket, and they controlled him. Tom Brady, he's like Peyton Manning. As soon as you get pressure on him, he throws the ball right down at somebody's feet, or he falls down.
Yeah. Well, then Zeke got 100 yards and a touchdown, and it felt like he was a non-factor. It was it was fun.
The blueprint to beat the Patriots is to make Tom Brady hit the ground.
Yeah.
It's that simple. The Giants did it twice in the Super Bowl, and they were able to win both games. If you can get pressure on Tom Brady, you make him panic, and he throws the ball away. He's the king of throwing the ball away.
Yeah.
You just got to control Edelman and control Sonny Michel. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And make your plays on offense.
When they're on Monday Night Football, it should be exciting.
The last time the Jets played the Patriots in primetime football, we all know it.
I know what it was.
We know it.
Yep.
It was the butt fumble.
Now, is this game in New England or is it in New York?
No, this one's in New York.
It's in New York. You want to go? Tickets are $40. You want to go?
Oh, you have to go. Come on. You don't even work Monday. I don't even want to hear an excuse.
I got to work Tuesday, though.
That's fine. You're going late.
You're going late anyways watching this game. It's not so late for you guys.
A 6-pack of Heineken will cost me $11. I'll drink that and I'll call it a day.
Well, we got an interesting season of football playing out here.
It's amazing the highs and lows. You went into the season high. You were on a clear low for 4.5 games, and now you're back to being on a high again. It's only been 6 weeks, and the ebbs and flows are already there.
Well, we're almost halfway through the season already.
Yeah.
And if you look at across the board, there are a couple really good teams, and then there's a couple really bad teams, and then everybody else is just kind of jumbled in the middle. Like, Kansas City's leading the division at 4-2. Like that's great, but I don't. They're kind of like a middle of the road team right now. I mean, I look at the Jets and I look at the Giants, and as crazy as it sounds, the Jets' second half schedule is really easy. It's not very difficult, especially as the season is evolving. The teams that they have to play the second half of the year, they suck. They're awful. Yeah. Like, if you can somehow beat New England and then you got to play Jacksonville and nobody's sold on Jacksonville, then you go into that Miami game. I mean,
that's a 500 football team now, right? That's unbelievable.
That's a 500 football team, and even if you can get into that Miami game at 2-5, this team could win nine games.
Yeah, well, that's what we were thinking coming into the year, which is refreshing to say.
Imagine if they win 9 games after starting off, how bad they started.
Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good. Well, we always say September tells a lot of lies, right? Like, it's the preseason. We got one more week, and then we can really see who got exposed for liars in September. Like, I mean, the Cowboys are an obvious one already because they lost 3 straight. But I'm not ready to jump on the San Francisco 49ers bandwagon. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being naive, but I need a little bit more from them before I'm ready to.
If they win one more game, they have to play. Oh, they got to play Washington next.
Oh, right. That's a victory. Yeah.
Man,
6-0. I know.
And then they got to play Carolina. So I mean, they're gonna go 6-0. Washington's awful.
Yeah. No, that's a slam dunk victory. I know. And then, but what about the Seattle's 5-1 on their heels? They just haven't had their bye yet. I mean, that team's impressing me too. They never.
Seattle's got to play Baltimore next.
Baltimore doesn't look that scary though anymore.
No.
We got 20 seconds left.
Oh, you're keeping a tab. I like it. Well, I don't know. I mean, my fantasy season feels like it's in the tank. At least the Jets season's rebounding.
My fantasy season off.
Yeah. I had Stephon Diggs on my bench this week. He scored 36 points. I don't know if anybody cares, but he's still on your team.
Thanks for watching BuzzChomp.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Share.
Woo.